people actually go into work wearing a full makeup, foundation, contouring? I don't know how they have the time to do it, especially when you have to wake up quite early. My name is Holla and you're welcome to my channel. Everything is going to entail everything nothing. So if this is kind of your thing, why not go ahead and subscribe and let's get to know each other. And everything I'm going to be talking about on this channel is going to be everything nothing. Without any further ado, let's dive into the video. So on today's video, I am going to be talking about student nurse placements along with other tips that I managed to gather while I just rounded up with my nursing degree. If this is your thing, why not consider liking the video, share along with your family. And yeah, so if you've not guessed by the title or by the topic of today's video, it's going to be essentials, tip and advice that you need for nursing. And these are my own personal experience that I'm going to be sharing with you. So the first thing I actually think that you do need is you need 4 areas that I kind of categorized in this way. They are not in chronological order, but this are what I have gathered. These are my own what I feel like as a standard basic that you would need. So I said the first thing you need, in my opinion, is to be prepared physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. And I said that in the chronological order because the course itself is very draining, and standing on your feet ain't no joke for 12 hours. And especially in some trust, if you work in A&E as an example, there was one time you do over 14 hours plus. So that was the reason why I stated that you need to be prepared physically, psychologically, emotionally, financially, because it can be very, very overwhelming. And if you guys listen to my intro, that was the reason behind me saying, how do people actually get the time to wake up in the morning, have a full makeup on, like foundation, contouring, blush, eyelashes, even nails? It ain't no beauty job, but I guess some people do have the time to do it. But like myself, I'm a mom of 3, so I don't think I have the luxury. And even if I do have the luxury, I'll probably be using it to pack my lunch or to read around some areas that I'm a little bit still, learning on. So the first thing, like I said, is you need to be prepared financially, physically, emotionally, and psychologically, and you need all the support within your family. And when I say that, I said it with every breath in my, every breath. So the next thing you're going to need as part of the tips and essentials for nursing is a student size mini book. I got this from B&M. They're very sizable, and the reason why I got them is because they fit perfectly well into my pocket. So I'm just going to show you few stuff that I have written in my book, because I feel like it comes in handy. It's very, very handy, especially for instance, if you were working in a particular area, let's say an example in a surgical area, and you are, doing your medication, this allows you to be able to write those new medication that you've just learned. And trust me, when you become qualified, you will hear some certain medication and you'll be like, I've had that medication before, but I can't remember. But thanks to your small size book, this will allow you to be able to go back into your own notes and to be able to pick up on that particular medication. So that's the reason why I said I go with a sizable pocket book. You can get any book of your choice. The preference is yours. So, but for me, this is what I want. And if you can see here, I've written my common medication and I've highlighted them. It's just very, very handy for me. I've written some medication like Lodopine, your, Ramipre, your atorvastatin. I'm not going to bore you with any of the medication, but what I would normally do is to carry a sizable pocket. These literally fit into all of my pockets. So I would expect you to have like a sizable small size pocket book, because it's handy and it allows you to write down information that you're unaware of, like example, the medication that I've just given. So, and any other new things you're not really sure about, like maybe your Waterloo or, any other information that it sounds new or it sounds a bit daunting, something you want to learn from, I would highly recommend that you have a sizable pocket note or book, and that is the second item on the list. The next tips or essentials that I reckon you would need is the BNF, which in full meaning it means the British National Formula. And again, the BNF actually it's give you all the information about the medication that they use in Britain itself, and it also tells you about dosage that should be administered to an adult or children, and it also gives you some side effects and symptoms along with the medication. And I think it's a brilliant idea. Technology has made things a bit more easier now. You can easily download it on Google, which is absolutely free. I have it on my phone, so anytime I hear of any medication, may it be like antibiotics or anything that seems a bit different, or it could be even a steroid, I just get my books, get my app on my phone, open the BNF, and I look at it. And you could actually, that I said, you can get it as a book format, or you can have it downloaded on your phone. Like I said, technology has made things quite easy these days, so it's more reasonable to sort of have it on your phone. So like, for example, if you don't have a booklet but you have a phone with you can easily just peep through that, and that will help you with what the medication entails, the symptoms, diagnostic, and a few other things as well. But it's a brilliant idea to have a BNF if you're a student nurse. So that was the next item on. So the next item on the list that I reckon is very important or an essential as a tip, or as something that would help you as a student nurse, is going to be a fob watch. So basically you can have that placed on top of your uniform, because you're not allowed to put a watch on your wrist. So this will basically be going on your uniform. Like I said here, fob watch helps you with the time. Let's say, for example, you need to document your notes, you need to do your observation, you need to record your observation when it's happened. With nothing, if it's not documented, that means it didn't happen. So your watch allows you to be able to look at the time, especially when you need it the most, if you're in an environment when there's no watch anywhere. So this is going to come in handy, because you need to, when you're making your documentation in terms of your nursing note, you need to be able to know what time it happened and what date it happened. If you want, you can knock yourself out with the Apple Watch as well. Those are another good buy. But if you're looking for something basic and standard, I got my as complimentary when I applied for my union from Royal College of Nursing. So I got my for free, but for some reason the battery was not as good as I thought, so I had to end up buying another one. So it's a good buy. So I would highly recommend it if you can get your hands on it. So that was the next item on the list. So another essential that I think you should consider buying is a stethoscope. I feel like this is very important, especially if you're still on training. You can basically get your hands on them. They are currently on eBay, they're on Amazon. I think especially when you're practicing, this allows you to be able to listen to, I mean, you can even use your friends as a demonstrator. You can, listen to their heart. You can listen, there are so many to their chest. There's so many things you can learn from. Get all those little things that you're able to relate to. This is going to help you on the basic level. You don't need to go down deep into it. It just gives you like some sort of like an idea, especially a pulse machine. Learning to do it manually, it just makes life easier. Once you're able to learn all these little things, it will help you in training when they're explaining what a stethoscope does and what a pulse machine does, and it kind of gives you like a basic background on what you're going to be experiencing on the ward, going forward as well. So I would highly recommend, if you can grab your hands on a stethoscope, absolutely worth the buy. So that was my next item on the list. Yeah, and then another item that I feel like you should consider buying, if you can get your hands on it, or if you can't, but to practice on, will be the urine dipstick. At least to be able to tell you about, it gives it a rationale why you're doing it, because every time sometimes you do something, you're like thinking, why am I actually doing it? So what is the rationale? That is the way I lived, like that is the way I've learned in terms of my learning experience. And I feel like if I'm doing something, I want to be able to know what is the need behind it. So if you can read around urine sample, especially do them as much as you can in placement, that would be a fantastic idea, as it tells you if a patient has an infection. And it also contains, if you look at the back of the urine dip, it tells you it contains information like glucose, nitrates, your pH, keto, and blah 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 for a urine sample. And the dipstick or urinalysis helps you to have a basic understanding around it. So you're going to be hearing that, most of the time the doctors will be like, can you do a urine dip for this patient? And you're like, oh, what is that? But if you kind of like get yourself around it, you will be able to read around it and understand the rationale why you're doing a urine dip for that particular patient. Are you looking for a certain infection, or the patient itself has a certain, do they have an infection? Why is the rationale behind you using a urine dip? So for me, I think that would part of definitely highly recommended if you can. It's not mandatory, but those are the things that I feel that it will go a long way as a student nurse who will become a qualified, because the aim is to become a qualified. So that was the next item on the list. And the next item as well on the list that I feel highly think you should do is to get a glucose machine. You don't have to have a diabetics to be able to be using a glucose machine. The most advantages of using a glucose machine is it allows you to know what your blood sugars are, and I think for you to be able to practice on them and have it, it's another example and a perfect example of something to invest on. Even though you know that the normal blood sugar should be around 4 to 7 mmol, but still having that machine will give you another idea as to what is expected in a patient who does not have a diabetics compared to a patient who is diabetics. And like I said, those are the little things that I think as a student nurses should have. But then again, for me, that was what I did. I managed to grab my hands on the little things that I feel like it's going to help me going forward. So invest in a glucose machine to know what is the normal basis. And also another important thing that I actually consider that you're going to need a lot in hospital is going to be pen. You're going to be doing a lot of documentation. You're going to be recording a lot of observation. You're going to be doing a lot of paperwork. So you need pen. You need to have maybe a black pen. I have a multicolored pen, so I don't have to carry so many pens. I don't have to carry so many pens along with me. So that's the reason why I got this big one. You can get them in Audi. There was one time they were doing like all this sales, so I managed to get my hands on them in Audi or even Pound Shop. You'll be surprised at the amount of stuff you can knock yourself on with Pound Shop. So I got this one from either Audi or either B&M or either from the Pound Shop. I can't recollect. And another item that I highly, highly recommend is the blue light Blue dots pupil guard. I believe you're going to need it, especially when you're doing your GCS. Again, I'm not going to go in depth with the eye pen, or I can't recollect what we call it again, but yeah, you need this as a touch. So highly recommend, if you can grab your hands on it, definitely grab your hand on it. Use it to practice on your friends or your family. It's going to come in handy for you when you need it the most. Kindly let me know in the comment section below what we call this. That's a good one now. And the next item you're going to need is definitely, you need to join a member of a union. I have 2 unions that I joined. I did talk about one, which was the Royal College of Nursing, which provided me with my fob watch. So I joined them immediately when I found out that I was going to be doing nursing. And there was another one, Unison. Yeah, I think I joined those as well. So those were the 2 ones. So it is very important to be registered with a union. Whichever one you choose is best for yourself. You don't have to go along with what I said. It doesn't matter. I'm registered with 2, like I said, and I can't remember, but I think it's Unison. Definitely you will need a union. God forbid, if anything happen in placement or if anything happen at work, you want somebody to be able to support you during that time. Another essential I reckon you need as a student nurse is going to be your ID badge. You need your ID badge should in case you need to transfer a patient to another ward. So the moment you confirm with your health placement where you're being allocated to, it is very important for you to try and get across to the trust so they can have your ID badge prepared as soon as possible, so that you won't start asking people for their badges to swipe in order to transfer that patient. And another one important aspect that I thought was absolutely fantastic that I managed to get my hands on Amazon is the new scoring system. Basically, this is what it looks like. It's called the News Scoring System. It sort of gives you a breakdown regarding your respiration rate, your SAT, if the patient is on air or oxygen, if they are systolic in terms of their blood pressure, and if the level of their consciousness and their temperature. Absolutely a good worth of key ingredients as a student, not an ingredient, but something I suppose you need in terms of knowing the basic around what is expected, what is normal. For somebody might not be exactly normal for another person. So if you can get your hands on it, I think I got it on Amazon, and it was I have to say, it's made my life a lot easier at work. So I would definitely highly recommend, if you can get your hands on it, do go ahead and do so. And without any other thing, I think usually we forget easily, like we do get dehydrated when we're in work. So I will consider a bottle of water highly important. You need a bottle of water. Any bottle of water of your choice is perfectly fine. I noticed that they do have machines sometimes, but you go to some places, they don't have a water machine, and you're like, oh my God, you're going to be spending all those little money you don't have, especially with the cost of living at the moment. It can be a bit weird, even though water is free and everything, blah blah blah, behind the rationale that which I'm not really going to get into. I always make sure I carry my bottle of water because I don't want to get dehydrated, and I always fill it up before I leave my home. It just makes it easier, should in case I get to a place and there's no water, at least I have that to save me till I get my hands on it. And also, one thing I'm going to say during this video as well to upcoming students or newly qualified is to, always take some time. If you're sick, just call in sick, but just make sure you follow the procedure around the trust that you're working for. That is the reason why my number 1 started with, you need to be physically, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically ready to become a student nurse, because there are some good days and there are some bad. To conclude my video, kindly let me know if you've enjoyed the video on the advice or essentials things you need as a student nurse. Also, kindly subscribe to my video. To give the video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below if you've really enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. My name is Nurse Ola again. Should you have any question, kindly pop them in the comment section below. If it's something I'm able to answer, I will try my best in my best way to answer your questions, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, guys. And don't forget, you are capable of doing it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And I'll see you in my next one. Do have a lovely day, and bye-bye.